Let's turn now to Michigan, where there is a break in a case that could impact an upcoming trial. Police say they have uncovered human remains in the disappearance of Deanne Warner, who vanished 3 years ago. The remains were found on a property belonging to Dee's husband, Dale Warner, who was charged in her murder.
Scripps News Detroit has a look at the new developments in this case against Warner.
Dee Warner vanished without a trace 3 years ago. The mother of 5 was last seen near her home in Tecumseh. Now her family thinks her body has finally been found.
She had an outpouring of a lot of love for a lot of people.
Greg Hardy is Dee Warner's brother. He has been a part of numerous searches hoping to find his sister.
We've had 3.5 years of searching, right? And there's been every single thing, even though we've had anticipation at a number of times, they've all been a no-go.
Back in 2022, a Lenawee County court ruled Dee legally dead. A year later, Dee's husband, Dale Warner, was charged with her murder. Her family believes she was a victim of domestic abuse. On Friday, Michigan State Police searched one of Dale Warner's properties and found human remains.
It was exhilarating in the fact that finally we had something. It was in disbelief because we couldn't grasp it. And then it was relieving that we finally accomplished something after 3.5 years of a really steep uphill climb.
Police say tests need to be done to identify the remains, but Hardy believes those remains belong to his sister. He also says he thinks these remains will be a key factor in the case against Dale Warner.
Others in the family, etc., feel very relieved that we have, the specific remains, and because many people have been, I guess, a bit concerned that we wouldn't have enough good information to go to trial.
As far as how Dee's 5 kids have been dealing with all of this,
they've taken it on head on. I'm very proud of them. They have grown, matured in this tragic event. My sister would be extremely proud of them.
Dale Warner has denied any involvement in his wife's disappearance. He is currently being held at the Lenawee County Jail. The next time he'll be in court is September 4th for a pretrial hearing, and Greg Hardy says he will not miss any hearing for Dale Warner. Reporting from the newsroom, Tierra Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
Still with us, National Trial Attorney Michael Jafer. Michael, talking about this case now, okay, they still need to positively identify the remains here. And obviously you can prosecute a case without a body, but obviously that changes things when you do have a body.
Yeah, if these remains are identified towards her, I don't think he has a defense at that point. Any semblance of a defense just deteriorates. He's being held over there in Flint. That's where Lenawee County is, and so he this case right here has captivated the public, right? And so people are looking at this case, and they're because of the 5 kids, right, and because of the fact there's billboards everywhere of this disappearance, right? This woman was a public, she was involved in her community. People respected her. For these remains to be found on his property is completely changes the case. He's fighting it. He's been consistent. I didn't do this. I had nothing to do with this, but there's already enough circumstantial evidence to show that he did it before they even found these remains. Again, I'm going to reserve judgment until these remains are identified, but if the remains are identified and they're as hers, they're found on his property, what other defense does he have? This is a woman, from my analysis of this case, she didn't have enemies. She was not a gambler. She was not a drug dealer. She did not, she was not a politician. She had no reason to disappear, right? She was just a mom. So I'm going to reserve judgment until we see the identity of these remains. But if they're hers, I don't even think a plea will even be offered for this guy. He's being charged with murder 1. I don't see how a plea would be even offered.
Yeah, if it's confirmed, this is a huge break for the prosecution, for investigators in this case, and of course, some semblance of movement and justice for the loved ones of Dee Warner.